looked at my six-figure healing business and I had a decision to make. I could move forward or I could stay in alignment with my morals, ethics, and values and walk away. And so, without hesitation, after making a very aligned decision with my husband's help, I lit the match and burned down that piece of my company. That was in fall of 2022 during eclipse season, during the year of our biggest impact that I had always dreamed of making. And I went through what we would call a tower moment, like in tarot, a dark night of the soul, if you will. But I also love to refer this to a rising phoenix moment. These are beautiful moments that happen in a variety of various times of your life that really ask you to rise. They call you to rise. These moments where it feels like the world, like what you're facing in or what you're getting ready to go through requires you to walk through the fire, requires you to walk through the unknown, requires you to alchemize the fuck out of anything that's in your path that is misaligned. And it was interesting because I remember the day that I had made that decision, I had a reading with someone, like a spirit-led reading. And she was like, you were literally the poster child for eclipse season. I was like, I don't want to be, because it was like day one of eclipse season, or we were like day one eclipse season, like shit was hitting the fan. I was like being called to rise. I didn't know what was my path forward. All I knew is I needed to go. And it was in those moments that I had thought about this before, how I had overcome a lot of different challenges, as you have, I know. And how I got to step into this Phoenix energy. And what was fascinating about this exact time was I was getting ready to launch my my signature program called the Rising Phoenix, which we have since retired. And I'll tell you why we retired it. And actually, I just looked up and we've got a Phoenix on the wall. I'm in my Zen right now. It's an office, it's a meditation space, there's a spare bedroom. But so we had the signature program called the Rising Phoenix, and it was really about going from where you are in that hiding to owning who you are and what it is that you are here to do. And if you saw my post yesterday, if not, go check it out. I said, can you do us all a favor and stop rising from the ashes already? And I say this with my full chest, but also with so much love, because the Phoenix era has served us, right? And so I want to tell you the story about what happened after I decided to light the match on my six-figure healing business and walk away, and everything that fell crumbled around me, but everything that transmuted because of it, and what happened and what happens when you grasp onto the Phoenix energy. So after I made this decision, and of course, then I had that reading, as I said, but when I made that decision, it wasn't a decision that I made lightly. It was without a shadow of a doubt. I know I can go this path or this path, and this path, it would probably be harder in the long run, but it would have been easier short term. This path on the other side was going to be so fucking hard in the beginning, and it was going to require me to dig deep and become a version of myself that I had never met before. But I already knew on the other side, something was going to come from it. I already knew through tears and hyperventilating in the shower at 1 a.m. My husband got into the shower at 1 a.m. while I was hyperventilating, fully clothed, to lift me up and to help me breathe in that moment. I already knew on the other side something was there was something. I didn't know what, I just knew. And I decided to take that path, the path of the rising phoenix. And I decided that after I lit that match and burned that 6-figure piece of my healing company to the ground, that I was going to do whatever it took to, first of all, alchemize what I was feeling and experiencing from within. Because if you're new here, welcome to the corner of the internet where we believe that you are a high vibrating soul having a human experience. You cannot bypass the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind controls 95% of what you do on a day-to-day basis. And so it gets to be both and. You get to heal at a soul, energy level, physical level, subconscious level. We want to include all of it. And so I started hiring healers from across the world. I hired a high-level mindset coach, and I also hired an RRT, rapid resolution therapy specialist. I loved that modality. It blew my mind so much that I got trained in it and also trained in it through the lens of hypnosis as well. So I include that in all of my coaching, from bebopping around in the 5D plus frequencies within the quantum field with quantum illumination Reiki to the very human experience in the subconscious mind and rewiring the subconscious mind as well, so that you can encompass and experience this beautiful experience and that we call the human life, right? And so as I was walking through this path and I was hiring healers across the world, I started to embody this Phoenix energy. I started to become the woman that can walk through the flames. I started learning how to transmute shit into gold. And also, side note, in that moment when I made that decision to take the path that was going to be the most challenging in that moment, it also tripped an 18-month modern day witch hunt where I was cyberbullied, harassed, you name it, for 18 months. And every now and then they show up again by a spiritual group of people. And I learned a lot about myself in all of this, all of the moments, all of the walking through the flames, rising above the flames. And 4 months after I walked away from that part of my healing business, the rest of Quantum Illumination Reiki came in. 9 months later, the name for Quantum Illumination Reiki came in, and we submitted it to the trademark through us trademark office. And then a year later, we started teaching it. Had I taken the path on the left, so to speak, would that have happened? I don't know. And when you make those decisions to become the woman that walks through the flames, to become the woman who rises above the flames, who becomes the one that continues to emerge, you grab onto it like a badge of honor, and it fucking is. It is a badge of honor. Not very many people would be like, oh yeah, sure, let me just throw this match on my 6-figure healing business and walk away like sayonara. Not very many people would look at the fears, the limiting beliefs, the panic, the anxiety, the going down the dark hole of the unknown, look it dead in the eyes and be like, and still I rise. Not very many people in the world would endure what you have endured and continue to rise in your power over and over again. And about a year ago, I was like, I'm done. This shit is exhausting. This continuous rising above the flames, rising above the flames, rising above the flames, because we get into this energy, and I love the Phoenix, by the way, I still love it. But we get into this where we grasp onto this identity of this energy. And for me, the Phoenix very much represents the dark feminine energy. We need her. We need both. We get to embody both. And I remember just having this like real conversation with myself. Am I going to keep being the woman that is continuing to be the woman that walks through the flames, be the woman that continues to transmute, or am I going to be the woman that is like, eye the storm? And looking around at everything that I have done for myself, that we are doing for what our soul mission is, that I'm doing in my personal life with my children, in my relationship with my marriage, and what we're creating together, what we're creating inside of our company, what we're doing with Quantum Illumination Reiki, what I'm doing with my clients and my students. And are we going to keep continuing to rise and rise and rise? Or are we just going to take our seat at the fucking throne? And what I started to notice was that as we continue to grasp onto this rising phoenix energy, it becomes this constant, like, almost an opportunity to continue to rise, but it almost becomes just so exhausting. And I was like, I know how to do this, and you know how to do this too. You know how to continue to be the woman of the flame. You know how to continue to alchemize the fuck out of everything and turn it into gold. You know how to come back home to you over and over again. You know how to release the people pleasing, even though it's a little bit sneakier now. You know how to draw the boundaries, even though it's a little bit like a little gremlins. You know how to do the inner child. Like, you know how to do all of that. But have you actually chosen, truly, have you chosen to take a seat at the throne and claim who it is that you are and what it is that you are here to do in this lifetime? Like, truly, have you? Or have you just been like, I'm exhausted, or I am going to continue to rise. I'm going to continue to meet every single challenge that it is that I have. Or are you going to just be like, no, this is where I land in a grounded, calm, aligned knowing, not being, though I think most people have it backwards. They have, do, be. Like, I have the thing, then I do the thing, then I be the thing, where it's very much be, do, have. You be her first. And also, it's know, K-N-O-W. Do you know that you are her? When I decided earlier last year, 2025, that I was just going to take a seat at the throne, that I was going to just land in this knowingness, it didn't come without challenge. I think everybody can relate with the year of the snake. Whoa, what a trip. And then we go into the year of the fire horse, and it's saddle up, bitches, except for it's eclipse season going into Mercury retrograde, which I think actually starts today, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, LOL. And also, it's looking at it from a different perspective. It's not looking at the challenges like, oh, and still I rise. It's looking at the challenges from a grounded space. Looking at where you are subtly allowing boundaries to cross. Where you're subtly allowing energy to leak in your business, in your life, in your relationships, in your workouts, in your eating, and you're drinking your water, in what it is that you are committing to yourself. It's all subtle at this point. And I knew that as I was stepping into this energy, that it was going to require something different. And so what I want to ask you today is, where is it that you are still like, and still I rise, and still I rise, and still I rise? Are we going to continue to rise above the flames and rise above the ashes? Or have you decided that you are actually going to take your seat at the throne and claim your crown and embody that energy? It's not about becoming some future version of you. You're already her. You are fucking already her. And so it was interesting because earlier, I would say probably a third of the way of the year, decided to remove the Rising Phoenix even off of my website, because I was like, this is an older version of myself and we love her. We love diving into the witch wound, the sisterhood wound. We love diving into the people pleasing from the very get-go, the boundaries, the good girl energy. We love stepping into your own personal power and that own it energy, that here the fuck I am energy. And also, we want to now allow the pendulum to align, where you are truly one with her. Are you giving yourself permission to just land? We love the raw power. Listen, we're like running around the house like, I'm on a new one. Like, we are going for it. We are doing the things. We are like, yes, let's effing go. And there are times where we have to step into that dark feminine energy. When I did that photo shoot with Paige in Costa Rica, the ones that you guys have been seeing me share on my feed now, I was like crawling out of Hecate's chamber. I was like, we love this energy. but we're going to stand and we're going to rise, not rise because we're rising above the flames, but rise, straighten your spine, the spine of a goddess, place that crown on your head, and look out at every fucking thing that you have done. Look at everything that you have done. Look at everything that you have healed. Look at everything that you have overcome. Look at everything that you have alchemized. And so I want to share that with you today because very much so in this season, not in this season, but in like it's when you are in this season, let me say that differently. When you are in this season, it can feel like a push-pull of identities. I was saying recently to someone, it can feel like old identity is on the left, new identity is on the right. They're like this way. And it's like all of a sudden you're just like, enough, burst. Let it fucking burst into glitters or butterflies or fireworks or whatever the fuck it is. Like enough with the push-pull and just decide. Just decide you're already her. That's it. And every single day, choose her over and over again because she's waiting for you. You're already her. It's break the glass house. For those of you that have the Ascension Meditation Library, I am going to create a meditation on this. But it's like, instead of continuing to rise and rise and rise, you're going to rise. That's obvious. Duh. But like, instead of continuing to bump the glass ceiling, trying to break it over and over, and you're banging your head against the wall. What's my next step? Rising and rising. It's like shatter the glass house and go take a seat in the kingdom that you have already built. So that's the evolution. That's the next step, is to take the seat at the throne. So this is where the inspiration for goddess codes came in. I rose, now I reign. This is our 8-month program where you will go from I rose to I reign. And this is not about doing more. This is about knowing you're already her. This is about, again, it's shattering the glass house. Keys are in the palm of your hand. Are you just going to stand at the glass? Or are you actually going to move forward? Are you actually going to take a seat? Are you actually going to walk into your kingdom? Are you actually going to put the crown on and take a seat? Are you actually going to remove the people and the situations and the things that are noise in the kingdom? Because the jesters do not get a space in the kingdom that you have spent so many years building. They just don't. The jesters, people, situations, things, belief systems, patterns, cycles, etc. Your spirit team takes them out. The queen doesn't do that shit. The goddess doesn't do that shit. Like, she has people. I always think about like the House of the Dragons. They have this huge table in this room and you do this, and everybody knows their role, and everybody goes and does their thing. So goddess codes is in 4 phases. So again, this is an 8-month program to really initiate this leadership recalibration for you that has already risen and you are ready to reign in your life, in your company, in your work, in your relationships. This is all encompassing because everything is energy. Energy is everything. It is not separate. It is all the same. So I want to share with you, this is in 4 phases because I was like, it's not enough to just go from I rose to I reign. We need to break this down into tangible steps that is easily integratable, not spazzing out the nervous system, because that's not how we roll here. This isn't about healing your past. You've already done this. This is about stabilizing your power, your internal knowingness, so you can lead from that. So I've just got this pulled up because I don't want to forget anything. So the 4 phases are I rose, I embody, I reign, and your reign era. So I rose, this is really about you stabilizing your power. This is regulating your nervous system around expansion. Like, you've already risen from the ashes. Now we need to hold the power without chaos. So what we're going to address is subtle ways that you are self-abandoning. Self-abandonment? That word did not come out right. Your energy leaks in your life, in your business. Again, everything is energy. Energy is everything. Nothing is separate. It's all one. People-pleasing disguised as service. Overgiving from fear of rejection. Reactivity in leadership or in life. So this is going to be where we stop collapsing and where everything starts really blooming. Phase 2 is embody. I embody. So this is about identity integration. Everybody is talking about identity work, nervous system regulation. It's like hustle, identity. And I'm like, we do both. We do it from alignment. And so we're going to close the gap between who you think you are or who you are and who you think you're becoming, because you're already her. It's not, future self is not away from you. It's not something separate from you. And you are literally a decision away. It is literally a lock-in. It is literally like an actor on a set where it's just, and it's 3, 2, 1, cameras rolling, and they're like, and most of the time they don't even break character outside of when they're filming because they need to stay in character. And so we're working on identity recalibration. We're working on emotional neutrality in triggers, meaning we're going to look at the subconscious belief systems that are coming up around the triggers, the dysregulation, any kind of emotions. You're still going to have the human experience. You're still going to very much feel. You're still going to experience the right. We want that, but we want to be your prime ways of experiencing life as like ways that bring you joy, ways that light you up, ways that like breathe life into your soul and light your soul on fire in whatever it is that you are doing. This is going to be devotion to what it is that you're doing, whether it's school, work, learning something new, business, expanding your company globally, in your marriage or in your relationships, in your friendships, in your, like as a parent, like wherever that is for you. Moving, making decisions without outsourcing your authority, and then holding standards without guilt. This one is huge. If there has been one thing there's not one thing that I've learned from this particular part of my journey, but it is knowing that you get to hold the standards of whatever it is that your standards are from a space of love, but also very cutthroat. It's like you get to be so fucking heart-led and unapologetic about what you will or won't stand for, and that's it. And it gets to be from calm, aligned. Remember, I have the storm energy. All right, so we're removing the proving energy. We're removing the last remnants of the phoenix, and we're removing that survival and like that survival, like that rise. So peace out to the proving. The proving is subtle too. The proving is very subtle, especially at the point where you're at now. And it's interesting when it comes up. I love these moments because I'm like, oh, I was just doing that thing. Let's not do that shit again. Okay. And then phase 3 is I reign. So this is your sovereign leadership. This is your throne era. We're moving from like your identity, because now you've claimed it. You're knowing, we're stripped away the remnants, into authority. So you're making decisions from a clean space. I don't make decisions or I don't do anything that feels out of alignment. And when I do, I very much fucking regret it. And that's not an energy we want to be in. And so I remember when we were in the UK in January, a couple of girls and I, we were just like sharing Ubers and like hotels and like we're doing like all the things together. And one of them said to me, hey, do you want to take a minute and look at like the money aspect and like separate that? And I just simply said, and it was so natural for me because I'm very practiced in it. But what I said was, I actually don't have the capacity for that right now. Is that okay if I take a look at that from a more grounded space when I get back so I can have a clear mind? And she was like, yeah. And one of my longtime friends who was at the retreat as well was sitting right next to me, and she goes, wow, I can't believe how easily you just said that. Holy cow. And I was like, what? She's like, how you just drew that boundary. And I was like, oh, yeah. She's like, I'm working on that. And I was like, girl, it gets to be that simple. If you don't have the capacity for something, you don't have to do it just because somebody says they need you to do it. And now I understand like sometimes like life, like it's going to require certain things from you, and that's okay. It's okay. Like sometimes you just have to do the thing. Welcome to being a human. And also, if there are situations where you're just like, no, I don't have the capacity for that, then don't do it. It. She was like, okay, cool. And I was like, okay. And we got it taken care of. And it was no big deal. Like nothing was crumbling. So that was just like one small example that actually somebody reflected back. It was actually really big for her, a pivotal moment for her to see that in real time. That is the embodiment, right? So where you're making decisions cleanly, you are no longer explaining yourself. You're leading without needing validation. You're just moving. You're like, I can just go now. I can just go. I can just do this thing. Or I can just be done with that thing. Like it's whatever. It's so neutral. You're raising the standards in your business, or your company. This is also true in your life. What you will and won't stand for, and you stop negotiating with things that are misaligned. So we're really anchoring into that energetic self-trust, like sovereign power without force. It's very heart-led. Your very clean leadership energy. So this is where life and business, like everything's one and the same, right? I'll say that 100,000 times. It's leading from stability, not adrenaline. There's a lot of different noise going on in the online space I'm noticing of training your body to experience certain situations. And I'm like, but what if you actually trained your body to be calm, to be aligned, to be centered, to be in your power? Because when you're training for chaos, when you're training for noise, and when you're training for discomfort, we love that. Like, I love to work out hard. And also, when you are doing that, we're actually not thinking from a clear mind. That's science. When your subconscious mind is bracing for a threat, it's flooding your brain leaves mind and goes into body. You get dumber, not smarter. That's humanity. And so we really want to give ourselves permission to remove the noise, to remove the things that had been no longer serving you, to remove the things that had been triggering you so that you can lead from that clean energy, from devotion to self, to your mission, with your passions in life and building your company. And then finally, the fourth phase is the RAIN era. This is your legacy embodiment. I love this so much. So this is what I describe this is sometimes what happens is as you expand your vision, and as you are like plucking away, and all of a sudden things start dropping in, or certain things start happening, or like the income starts coming in, or like the deals start coming in, or the opportunities start coming in, and your energy goes and it just fragments. And what we want to do is be able to expand without fragmenting. We want to keep your energy clean. We want to keep your expansion clean, not fragmented. We no longer want to calibrate to survival leadership. We want you to do this from sovereign leadership. And so energetics mastery, this is a huge theme. Your capacity, expanding your capacity. There's a difference between expanding your capacity to where the rubber band feels like it might actually, like it feels uncomfortable, because expansion is uncomfortable, right? Growth can be very uncomfortable. You already know this. But if you're expanding it to the breaking point, we need to pause. So capacity expansion, wealth receptivity, your long-term vision embodiment, and also magnetic leadership presence. So this is where you stop trying to be powerful and you just simply are. It's just your essence. It's the magnetism on a day-to-day basis. In the beginning, in the first phases, it can feel like a full-time job. And sometimes even as you like have that push-pull burst of identity, and you finally are like, enough, I'm choosing, I'm her. It can feel uncomfortable, but then it's like, I've landed. So again, Goddess Codes is open for enrollment. 8-month program. We have live calls. You have that's deep identity and leadership work, coaching. We're doing recalibration, subconscious reprogramming, energetics mastery work. We do 1 quantum illumination Reiki session per phase. And then we also have the trainings that drop through a private podcast so that you can listen on the go, whatever feels good for you. I'm a mom. I've got things going on. If I can listen on the go, I'm a happy girl. So I do really appreciate that. So I like to have that opportunity for you guys as well. And then we'll have our private community that's off social media. It is in Telegram, which is one of my favorite ways to be able to support my clients is inside of Telegram. So you're able to integrate and get the coaching and mentoring in between calls. DM me, Rain. I've also been asked about the certification program as well, Quantum Illumination Reiki. So yes, that is still open for enrollment. You absolutely just DM me Quantum. But if you are not in the certification and you want in both Goddess Codes and the certification, just let me know. I do have a bundle option for you too. And thank you so much for joining me today. I just want you to know that we love the Phoenix. She has served us so much, and there's a next level that we can honor the amazing energy that she provided us. And now it's time to take a seat at the throne. It's time to claim your crown. It's time to look at everything that you have built and give yourself permission to lead from the energy that you're here to lead in that essence. Yes, Goddess Codes. We are in pre-sale right now through March 8th. So pre-sale is open for enrollment. We'll start in April. Pre-sale does include a discount. Bundle it with a certification if you want to do that. There are plenty of payment plan options if you're a payment plan girly as well. And then what else do we need to know about this? If you pay in full, you do get a week of coaching with me as well we'll plan that out either before we start or sometime in the next few months. So sending you guys so much love. Make sure you DM me, let me know how this landed, and I hope you have the most amazing day.